Hey everybody, this is Steve D at Extreme Life. I'm going to talk to you today about one of my favorite trips that we do every year. We got one coming up in January. This is Tiger Beach, which is hands down my favorite shark dive spot in the world. So watch this presentation if you're interested. If you're not, watch it anyway, because you might get interested. And if you do, my information is going to be at the front and back of this presentation. So if you are interested in going on this trip, you could get in touch with me at Steve at extremelife.com. And, I still actually have a couple trips, spots open for January this year. So get in touch with me if you're interested in going, give you a great price. It'll be a great time. So check out the presentation. We're definitely excited as we go through this process of gearing up and getting ready to go.
Farewell,
this is a video real quick. I'm just going to duck out, give you a video. Some excellent pictures and other stuff here real quick, so check it out.
For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston, and so never more shall we see you again.
Farewell and adieu to you Spanish ladies, farewell and adieu to you ladies of Spain, for we have received orders to sail to old England. We hope in a short time to see you again. We'll rant and we'll roar like true British sailors. We'll rant and we'll roar all on the salt seas until we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Ushan to Scilly, 'tis 35 leagues. We hove our ship to with the wind our southwest, boys. We hove our ship to deep soundings to take. 'Twas 45 fathoms with a white sandy bottom, so we squared our main yard and up channel did make. We'll rant and we'll roar like true British sailors. We'll rant and we'll roar all on the salt seas until we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Ushan to Scilly, 'tis 35 leagues.
I love that video. And it gives you a pretty good idea of what goes on the trip. So let's just get right into it. We'll talk a little more, and then I'll show you some more stuff, some more videos, some pictures, some other cool stuff. And, you decide for yourself if it's something that's for you or if it's not. I mean, we have a lot of people that came the first time and keep coming back. So it's a lot of fun. All right. So the Dolphin Dream. A lot of people, when they hear liveaboard, they're like, oh boy, it's a liveaboard. I don't know if I like that or if I can, if I can do that. The Dolphin Dream is a great boat. I wouldn't be going out with them, like we do, if it wasn't. So basically the trip is 7 nights, 5 days. We usually stick around Tiger Beach. If we do, sometimes we'll shoot over to Bimini if we want to go see. If we don't get any hammerheads at Tiger Beach, we might go over there and kind of look at check out some hammerheads if we can. So that's, we can move around a little bit, but primarily it's a Tiger Beach trip. You're there to see tiger sharks. The boat is an 83-foot by 26 liveaboard. It's 4 days, 4 dives a day. Now you don't have to go on all these dives. You can go on as many as you want. Nobody's going to guilt you or shame you into doing every single dive. If you want to just relax on the top deck and get a suntan for an hour or two, whatever, that's all up to you. I mean, it's your trip, very relaxed boat. Nobody's pressuring anybody to do anything they don't want to do. But hey, of course, if you want to dive 4 dives a day, sometimes even more. I mean, once the boat, once the back deck opens, the pool's pretty much open. You could jump in pretty much anytime you want, as long as, like I said, someone's out there, and you want to dive where there's no bait in the water. I mean, that might happen too. So anyway, but most of these are baited dives, baited feed dives. And what that means is, we bait the water. Sharks ain't going to show up without the bait. Actually, at Tiger Beach now, they hear the engines of the boat. They're usually there because they know it's dinner time at that point. So they're baited dives, they're feed dives. So we go down, we actually feed these sharks, and they're up close and personal. So, and I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go. We actually also do one night dive most of the time. I mean, sometimes we just can't, but most of the time we'll do at least one night dive out there on Tiger Beach. And I'll explain a little bit about the night dive too. The night dive is not a feed dive. We do bait the water, but we do not feed during a night dive. All right. So here's the boat. Boat has a lot of common areas. I mean, obviously it's got three bathrooms, which are heads on a boat, 3 heads with showers. And there's also a shower outside. There's plenty of fresh water. All the trips I've been on in that boat, we've never run out of fresh water. So there's a ton. It's a huge tank that holds the water. We never run out. The back deck is where we do the dives from. There's plenty of room there for cameras and other things like that. You get your gear set up. The crew actually sets up all your tanks and everything for you every single dive. So it's pretty easy diving. And I'll go into a little bit about that too. The top deck, which I mentioned before, is basically just it's a top deck. There's a gear box up there. So all the gear when we're doing the initial crossing to get over to Tiger Beach, you put all your gear in the gear boxes. This way they just kind of all stay in one spot and not get lost because things during the crossing, if they're up on the deck, wind comes, something like that could blow it off. We don't want anything like that to happen. So, but you could store gear up there pretty easily. Wetsuits as well. They hang up there, keeps them nice and dry. So you're not constantly getting into that wet wetsuit again. We hate that. Some people leave them on, throughout the day. I take mine off almost every single dive just because I don't like to, I like to keep my core temperature as high as possible throughout the week. Sleeping quarters, it's a 2-bunk style. I'll show you, there'll be a couple pictures on the next slide. I'll show you, bathrooms and showers. I already explained. Food is supplied. Obviously we have a great cook on the boat. He's always kind of staying ahead, making sure we're well fed, and it's great food too. I mean, we usually have, I don't think anybody's ever complained about the food either, so it's good. I always say you want to keep people happy, give them good food. They go shopping right before we get on and buy a whole bunch of stuff, soft drinks, and there's beer as well. The only thing about the beer and any alcohol is you do not drink before. If you crack a beer before the last dive, you don't dive. So there's no drinking while we're diving. So just keep that. That would be something to always keep in mind. But there is beer on the boat. If you require anything special, anything specific, I'll cover this too. We always do a store run. At least I do. I go out and there's a store like 3 blocks away. And I'll run out and, get my coffee, things that I like that are just very specific to me. Because I like certain things a certain way. And if you have any specific types of drinks or alcohol or something like that you want to pick up, plenty of room to put it on the boat. And that's certainly not a problem. So we make a store run. All right. And here's the Dolphin Dream. And as you see, there's the main, the picture over here. I can't, maybe I can put there we go. Put my mouse on it. Hopefully it'll come through. But this picture over here and this picture here, it's kind of like the place where mostly people hang out. Like I said, there's a back deck, a top deck. The back deck is over here. Top deck is this whole area up here. It's a pretty comfortable, a lot of space. 83 feet on a boat is a good space. These are kind of like one example of what the bunkhouses look like. And then here's the bathrooms. They're pretty much mirror images of themselves on that as well. So pretty easy, laid back boat. On the boat, there's the crew. It's always 2 licensed captains on the boat. We have a great cook. We have a first mate. 2 crew members are always watching the back deck while it's open. So there's always, a couple people keeping eyes out, making sure everybody's staying safe. And then at least 1 crew member is in the water with you while you're in the water. All right. So that safety is a big concern. We just want to make sure everybody has a good time and a safe time. We don't want anybody, and I'll tell you what, from my experience of diving for a very long time, most injuries happen on the boat, not on this boat, but on any boat. any dive trip. It's the boat takes a roll, someone, missteps and ends up hitting a door or hitting something or there's always, like I said, it's the most danger you're probably in is on the boat. So in the water, you're probably going to be just fine. You'll be fine on the boat too. But like I said, just any boat, any trip, anytime, the boat's probably the most dangerous place to be for a diver. Make sure when you're getting ready to go that you bring everything with you. We are not going to hit land again. So if you don't have it, you ain't getting it. Once you pull off port there and we make the crossing, if it ain't on the boat, it ain't going to be on the boat at that point. So just make sure everything, think of everything. I mean, make a checklist and double check it. I'm a little crazy with that. I mean, I'll make a list and I'll make sure, because I bring a lot of cameras and different things like that. And if there's anything I miss, I remember one year I forgot my chargers for my lights, and it was half my trip I had lights, the other half I didn't. So, and that's tough with a camera, but I got really good at shooting, in a, natural light underwater. So, anyway, another thing I always suggest is bring a windbreaker, a sweatshirt, a jacket, something with you. You want to make sure you bring something just because it does, it could get a little chilly up on the deck at night if you want to go hang out up there and, take some pictures at night, whatever you're doing. But it could get a little cool in the evenings, especially in January. I mean, it is wintertime. Even though it is the Bahamas, it is wintertime. But during the day, I mean, it's very warm. So you ain't going to be worried about that. Proof of citizenship, make sure you bring your passport with you. Don't leave that at home, because if you leave that at home, you ain't getting on a boat. Because we can't take you out of the country, bring you to the Bahamas, or bring you back without a passport. The other thing, any kind of seasick medication, I would say, we have stuff on the boat. There's always extra on the boat, no matter what. But I always say, if you have a specific kind you want to bring with you, I always suggest it, even if you don't get seasick. Just because sometimes, you could run into that 1 in 100 crossing that's just really rough and people get sick. So the crossing's the only spot where you'll probably need it. I take it every day, and I don't get seasick, but I'll take it every morning. I'll just take one and just make sure. And I would say take it start taking it prior to us leaving, prior to boarding, just so you could kind of, get ahead of it. If you're somebody who is prone to it, definitely. If you get seasick or motion sickness, then definitely start taking it that morning. Even if you're off the boat, not even on the boat yet, just start taking it, and then take it every so many hours, just so you make sure that you have, we don't want anybody having a bad time. Trip insurance, get that, because, it's a boat and there's weather, and, sometimes that can affect the trip. Dive insurance, just in case there is any kind of emergency where, I always tell people, and this is for any dive trip, not just this one. I mean, any dive trip, you should always have dive insurance, whether it's through PADI or some other organization. I always suggest PADI because they seem to be the best, but get some kind of, any kind of DAN trip insurance, something like that. Get some kind of trip insurance so that in case you need a helicopter ride, which I've never had that happen, but in case you do, it can be covered. And we are quite a ways from any medical facility in the middle of the ocean. So equipment, bring any equipment you're going to need, and notify us and the boat, the captain, of any special diet that you have. I mean, it'll be accommodated, but we just need to know prior to us pulling offshore, and preferably, way in advance so that everything can be prepared and ready to go. There are 3 local airports in the area. Palm Beach International, about 20 minutes from the boat. That's where I usually fly in, West Palm. And then there's Fort Lauderdale, which is an hour to 3 hours, depending on traffic and mode of transportation. And then Miami's the furthest. I would say it's probably about 2 hours away, 2 to 3 hours on average. We have people come in from Europe that fly into Miami and it's generally takes them about 2 to 3 hours to get to the boat from there. So just so you know. This is important information right here. Any medical conditions that you have that you may suffer with. Remember, like I said, we are not close to any type of medical facility, and there's no doctor on the boat. So if you have any kind of medical condition, you wanna make sure that you know, just let us know. And if it's something that's going to be a problem for the boat, then we'll let you know. If it's not, then hopefully, like I said, well, I've never seen this happen, but like I said, it's just a precaution. We don't want to have to take. You don't want to be that person that causes the boat to have to go to shore, in the middle of the trip. So just let people know if there's going to be anything of concern. Once again, dive insurance, Dan, Divers Alert Network. Get some insurance on there. You're going to sign waivers. Every trip has waivers. I always say, there's no trip in the world that's worth it without a death waiver. So you're going to sign a waiver. Bring any medicines or toiletries that you need. Gratuity on a boat is generally anywhere between 10 to 20%. And the crew they're great. You're going to want to tip them because they're just great. They're a great group of people, and they do an amazing job at making sure everybody gets the shots they want, everybody gets the experience they want. I mean, they definitely so accommodating. You're going to want to give them a little extra. Temperatures in the summertime, generally the air is about 76 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius, and about 90 degrees. Anywhere from there. It starts off in the morning, might be 70s, and then ends up in the 90s in the afternoon. And water temp is generally around 78 to 86 degrees, somewhere in that area. Wintertime's a little cooler, could start off at 55 and end up at 75. As I said, you want to bring some kind of windbreaker or some sweatshirt or something like that for the evenings. Water temp 72 to 76. It could vary. I mean, it could be warmer, could be a little cooler. Either way, just be prepared for it. There he is. So that's Captain Scott doing his thing. Now let's get serious. There's Baz doing his thing. But yeah, it's a fun boat, as you can see. All right. Whoop. All right. So that's really Captain Scott. He's actually great. He's been on the water for probably 30 something years out there. He knows his stuff. He keeps everybody really having a good time. And Scott, as you saw from the video, loves to have a good time too. He's not, one of those guys that, he's very approachable, has a lot of fun, and keeps everybody safe as well. So I can't say enough about Scott and the experiences we've been able to have on his boat. So it's a lot of fun. And, getting ready to dive. All right, so we're going to get into some of the cool stuff now. I've been talking about other stuff for a while now. All right, tanks and weights, they're all supplied by the boat. Cameras are absolutely not supplied by the boat. Bring your own camera. We have plenty of, we have dunk tanks there. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people on a boat with a lot of knowledge of cameras and underwater shooting. So it's a great experience to be able to learn as you go, especially at Tiger Beach. The water clarity there is amazing. There is an opportunity to rent gear. Once again, let us know ahead of time so that we can get you set up to rent some gear if you need anything. Gloves and hood are required. Absolutely want gloves and hood on these dives. You don't want any unwanted exploration of your hands or head. Sharks are attracted to contrast, which kind of goes into the next point as well. No bright or fluorescent colors. If you have bright yellow fins or anything like that on your gear, take that stuff off. Find something else. Rent some gear. Do something. You just don't want to have that because, like I said, they are attracted to contrast. It will make them interested. They won't bite it or probably do anything like that, but they will definitely be very attracted to you if you have contrast. I know, like with my bald head, I always wear you'll see me with a little beanie hat on down there, I always have that on because they love my head. So, so I try to keep them away from my head because I don't really want to get bit in the head for any reason. I call them tooth eggs because they don't really mean to bite you. They just, the teeth are very sharp, and if they accidentally rub against you with it, it's gonna hurt. There's a safety briefing before the dives. As I said, we want to make sure everybody stays safe. And the first dive we're going to do at Tiger Beach when we first get there is a checkout dive. That's a, unbaited dive where we just jump in. Everybody gets in, make sure your weights are right, make sure everybody's comfortable, do a swim around, probably about a 45-minute dive. A lot of times sharks show up anyway. They won't come real close because you don't have any food and there's no food in the water, but they hear the engine, they get attracted, they know what time it is, and they come up and they'll probably, be interested as to what's going on. And they think it's time to eat. So moving on. All right. So sharks. This is what we're here for, right? This is what we're doing. This is why we're going out there. You could find up to 6 species of sharks at Tiger Beach. You could have them all on one dive. I've seen it. I've had it. I've actually tried to. A few years back, I was trying really hard because we had Patches of the Great Hammerhead on the dives. She was showing up down there, and I was trying very hard with a few other people to get 6 species of shark in one frame of film, one shot with all 6 in it. Nobody was able to do it. I have not been able to accomplish that task yet. I'm hoping at some point down the road I'll be able to. And, but you got tiger sharks there. Of course, nurse sharks are always there. Reef sharks, lemon sharks, bull sharks are always kind of hanging around in the background. And great hammerheads can show up. Like I said, we had Patches with us, I think in 2019, Patches was with us the whole week. And it was an amazing trip. You'll probably see, I think I have some video and stuff of her and some pictures of her coming up in a few minutes. But bull sharks, like I said, you just want to keep your eye on them. They don't usually come into the feed. Matter of fact, they never come into the feed. I haven't seen them do that there yet. They might do it at Bimini. Bimini, there's way more of them there than there are at Tiger Beach. But, they're usually just kind of 1 or 2 of them's kind of going around the background. I just say be aware of where they are. They're not generally they haven't been any issue ever, and I've been out there a lot. So, so Tiger Beach, just quick. You'll get this in the briefing too. This is kind of what the briefing looks like. We dive at a place called Fishtails, which is in Tiger Beach. As you could see. The little X's all around are where you are. That's where the divers go as you go down. And you're going to see the safety diver directly behind the person with the bait box. So here are you. This is all of us. All right. And here's the safety diver. And here is the feeder. So when the sharks are going to be coming in this way, and they're going to be going up and over the feeder, and we want to make sure we have enough space between us and the feeders to make sure the sharks can get through okay. Every once in a while they'll move everybody around because the current might change, and if you notice a shark keeps coming to you, it's not because the shark's interested in you, it's because the current changed and it's blowing basically in your direction, and the sharks are coming to you because they think you're the one with the food. So, and as you can see, this is where the back deck is, and we're going to be jumping off right there. And you saw that in the beginning movie that I showed you. I think that was Nicole who went off the back deck right into a bunch of sharks. So those are all reef sharks. They're pretty easy and could be lemons as well in there, but they're pretty easy to manage. All right. So day 1 of the expedition, the itinerary for day 1 is I always say fly in either the morning of or the day before. You can fly in days before if you want. Just make sure you're there because the boat will be leaving that day. So you want to make sure sometimes going in the day before is the best way to go. I always keep an eye on the weather, the airports, everything, because there's one shot at getting there. we leave from Blue Heron Fishing Fleet, the bridge, basically it's under Blue Heron Bridge. It's at, you can see it's in Riviera Beach. We board at 3:00. Doesn't matter if you get there a little early, they probably let you on anyway. Dinner is provided on the boat that night. As I said, we do a store run for any personal items or anything you think you might need prior to us pulling offshore. Any personal stuff, you like a certain kind of wine at night, whatever that stuff is. We can take a ride to this, or walk or ride to the store. It doesn't matter, and get that stuff for you. Before we pull out, there's a boat safety briefing. So we learn about all the safety stuff, the dinghy on the top of the boat that will come rescue you if you get stuck out there. Any of the things, how the escape ports, things like that from the galley and other areas, or the below deck area. You learn where all that stuff is, because it's really important to know that, just in case. Never, ever had any issues, but just in case. Take your seasick medication, just in case. At that point, we start the crossing usually around 5. We have dinner and then we start crossing. That depends on weather. Sometimes, it gets held up. But we do the best we can. We got to be, like I said, you want to be safe. You don't want to be crossing during, 15, 20-foot swells. You don't want to be doing that. It's not fun. Not fun for anyone. I could show you video of that. It's not fun. Anyway, enjoy the ride as we travel through the night. So you'll be going to sleep. We'll be talking about the trip and having fun and goofing on each other probably the way out. And then early morning the next day, we arrive in West End, Freeport, for customs. We do the customs thing in the morning, which is basically we just hang out on the boat. The captain gives the customs officer all our, information. And then basically, because we give the captain our passports, the captain gives him, gives all that stuff to the customs agents. And basically we're in and out of there pretty quickly. In the morning after customs, we have about a 4-hour bolt back over, because we actually crossed through Tiger Beach to get there, back to Tiger Beach, where we will stay until returning to the United States. So like I said, over in Freeport, it's the last time you will see land for the most part, until we get back to the U.S. We do not have to go back to Freeport to go back to the U.S. We just go straight back. We arrive at Fishtails, do a dive briefing. Usually we have lunch, do a dive briefing, and then it's dive, time to go. First dive, check out, swim around, no feeding, as I said before. And then we start feeding on dive 2. So I'm going to show you another quick video with this next slide. That's our first dive, one of them. That's where you'll probably find me during that first dive, hanging out, petting one of my buddies down there. Sharks need love too. All sharks, not just tiger sharks, but everybody down there. So that's me hanging out with one of my buddies at the bottom, just kind of, telling her it's all right. We're back. Oops, let me get out of that. All right. So day 3, 4, and 5, pretty much mirror images, right? So we breakfast at 8. And I just want to put this out there. This stuff changes sometimes just because of weather. I mean, all kinds of things can cause us to get either more or less in a day, move quicker, move slower, whatever. But, breakfast is generally 8 a.m. Pool opens at 9. Dive 1 between 9 and 10. Dive 2 between 11 and 12. Lunch between 12 and 2. Dive 3 between 2 and 3. As you can read yourself, dive 4 is between 4 and 5, and then dinner's between 5 and 7. Boat will move to the shallows every night. We kind of seek the blockade of an island over there in a little shallow spot where the water is extremely calm. It's just kind of, it doesn't even feel like you're on a boat. So everybody can get a good night's sleep. So that's what we do. Tuesday or Wednesday, we travel to the back of another island. We get really close so that we can get some cell service from the top deck. So if you go to the top deck, go forward that night, we'll let you know when that night is. You can get on, any of your social media generally. I mean, depending on your cell service, I don't know what you have, but I know for myself and a lot of people, that night we can generally get some cell service. The captain does it because he needs to kind of run his business from out on the water. So he'll pull in so where he can do his business. So in effect, we can also do ours. Personally, I like not having any service while I'm out there. It's great because you just kind of let the world do what it's doing and you can enjoy yourself out on the boat. We also will do a night dive on one of those nights as well. That's usually when we do the night dive. And here's a quick, this is Tigers. I call this Night Tigers. It's kind of twilight right now. It's not fully dark yet. Usually once it gets fully dark, a lot of times they move out to the deep to go hunt, which is why we know we're not really changing their behavior too much at all. A lot of people say, oh, because you're feeding them, you're changing their behavior. Nah, not so much. They still go do what they need to do. What we give them is not enough to sustain them. And there's a bull at night, a bull shark at night. They show up too. As you see, I'm diving, does not care about me at all. Just kind of like, all right, you're a little strange fish with some lights and bubbles coming out of you. I'm getting out of here. So Tuesday is what we call Tutu Tuesday. And here is why. That's Tutu Tuesday. We encourage everyone to wear a tutu all day on Tuesday. It's fun. It's a hell of a lot better than Thong Thursday. You don't even want to see those pictures. I'm just kidding. There is no Thong Thursday, but Tutu Tuesday. It's a long tradition on the Dolphin. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. We're not gonna, nobody's gonna shame you into wearing a tutu. But and we have plenty of them on the boat. So there's a whole bag of tutus if you don't bring one with you. I bring my own. Not even going to go into that, but yeah. All right. So, Lord. All right. So day 6, this is the last day. Day 6, we breakfast at 8, pool opens at 9, dive 1 and 2, pretty much the same times as the other day. 12 o'clock, we want to be out of the water. Generally, 1 at the latest probably. And saying goodbye to Tiger Beach and getting ready for the crossing back to the United States. Day 7, we arrive at the U.S. early in the morning, wait for customs, clear customs around 9 to 10 a.m., back to port by 10 at Riviera, and then we're travel home back to your next destination, wherever that is. You're free to hang out on the boat till it's time for to leave and get to wherever you're going. So, that's pretty much that. This is Allie. I like to show this video because this was shot by my friend Doug Russo. But this is me feeding Allie. She was named by one of the crew members, Ryan, and she is I think 13-foot. Maybe big girl. There she is. Something bit up her fin pretty good. You can see her size. She's enormous. She's a big fish. But sweet girl. All right, this is what the feeds look like if you're sitting behind the box. Okay, so just to let you know, as the week goes on and people get more and more comfortable, they tend to start getting closer and closer to the box. We don't really want that to happen. But at the end of the week, what'll start to happen is, if somebody would like to sit where, let's say, the safety diver is, get real up close and personal. The only thing I'll tell you is, and I'll show you a picture that I got when my camera actually ended inside the mouth of a shark. It depends on how comfortable you are. as they come through, you sit behind the box. A safety diver is sitting directly behind you, and you can get some great shots up close and personal. I mean, you don't get any closer than that. So check this out. This is that's me shooting, and you'll see the next one. I think the shark, that's what it looks like from the surface. And then here, check this out. This is when we had patches, so a couple years ago. Patches ran right into my camera. And like I said, there's the top end. I will tell you this. I do have a video of a shark attack. And here, I mean, please just, this is not a common occurrence. It does happen though. People do sometimes get bit. So I just want to show you this footage. If you are squeamish, turn away now. But here you go. Okay. So as you can see, I was absolutely kidding on that. We don't have incidents like that. But you will see that puppet will be on every dive at some point. It comes with me everywhere. All right. And then here are some, photographers. This is a, dream trip. If you like taking photos, there's me shooting patches. There's patches again. And then I think that's patches as well. And Howard shooting patches there. And then obviously a bunch of cool tiger shark pictures. I mean, you're going to get a ton of opportunity. And I told you I'd show you what happens when you keep shooting and the shark keeps coming. That was right before. That was a shot I got before the camera actually ended up in the shark's mouth. Luckily, the camera wasn't damaged. Like I said, the only thing I say, if you want that bite shot, because everybody wants that bite shot, just realize one thing. The next thing that happens is the shark's teeth come down at some point, and they come down. The closer you are, your camera might get in there. Mine has ended up in a couple mouths already, but you can control that. And this is basically just a picture of a successful trip. This is what we do at the end. Take a picture and say, see you next trip. So hopefully you come back. So that's pretty much everything I have on Tiger Beach and the expedition. I didn't even plan on this being as long as it's been, but I think it gives you a pretty good, well-rounded view of what this trip is and what it's like. If you're somebody who loves sharks or is interested in learning about them, or is a photographer who wants to take some pictures of them, that's a diver. Hey, this might be the trip for you. Send me an email, contact me, and we'll see about getting you on the trip. I have great prices right now for this trip, and it's a fun one. Some people it's a bucket list trip. Other people keep coming back. So hope to see you out there, and stay safe, stay well. Tiger Beach. This was the Dolphin Dream Tiger Beach Expedition presentation.